right, everyone, here it is, Tattooed Chef's third quarter 2021 results. So let's start with the expected earnings per share was -5 cents. It came in at -10 cents, so a miss. Revenue was expected at 64 million and it came in at 58.8 million, so a $5.1 million miss on revenue. So what does this mean? Let's dive into it. I did all the research for you guys, so you just need to simply watch this video, take it all in. I'm gonna give my opinion at the end, and then you can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. So let's begin with what, kind of the highlights of their financials. So again, they reported revenue of 58.8 million. That's a 44% increase year over year. That is still very impressive, right? I think some people were expecting more around 50%, but 44% is still impressive. And even more impressive is their branded revenue increased 56%. So they have branded products and private label products. Private label, think of, you go to Trader Joe's, everything has the Trader Joe's name on it, even though it might be a Tattooed Chef product. That's just how some of these places work. So when people are seeing Tattooed Chef, that means those items are being bought more, which is awesome. And now Tattooed Chef is a top 10 brand across the club, grocery, and mass channels in the categories in which we compete, aka the plant-based food category. And so their branded products are now in over 13,000 stores nationwide. That is impressive. As you know, they have been expanding into different stores, such as the big one, Kroger, recently. So looking ahead, they believe that they're well positioned to execute on growth strategy with tremendous, I circled that in red because that's a big word, momentum entering 2022 and beyond. So they're very, very excited about their growth and they think it's going to be tremendous. They are also thrilled with Tattooed Chef acceptance at retail stores and believe our products resonate with the next generation of consumers. So this is from Sarah Galletti, this quote, and she is the one that basically creates all the products. She's the innovation behind that. And so she's saying that we are getting out into all these retail stores. They're accepting us. They're having these good relationships, which is a good thing. And they're resonating with the next generation, which, let's face it, the plant-based foods side of thing, business, whatever you want to call it, is going to be huge, I believe. I see it growing everywhere around me. And so they plan to expand their product portfolio beyond the freezer aisle, which is very important, allowing consumers to enjoy Tattooed Chef products at home. So, as you know, they bought New Mexico Foods, which is allowing them to expand into their frozen foods, but non-frozen foods as well. And they also just acquired Belmont, which is going to allow them to do more like energy protein bars, which is going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure they'll expand into other things like fried chips and things like that. So they're making big moves. So if we keep moving forward, revenue was, like we said, at a record 58.8 million, though it missed the 64 million mark. But that's compared to just 41 million a year ago. So that's, to me, still impressive growth. And the branded product, the one that we want to focus on, because this is where they can make their most money, they can charge and make the more profit is in their branded products, and that increased 55.9% from the prior year. Now, net loss was 8.2 million compared to a net loss of 3.2 million. So their net loss increased, but we're gonna look into that a little bit further, as well as their EBITDA was negative at 5 million compared to a positive 1.6 million in the prior year. Again, we will go over that in a minute. So revenue was 162 million at the third quarter for the year. And that's a 48.7 increase compared to the prior year, which was at 108.9 million. Branded product revenue, again, what we want to see, was a record 104.2 million, an increase of 71.9%. That is huge, compared to 60.6 million in the prior year. So again, before we were looking at just the quarter, now we're comparing year over year. And to have your branded product revenue increase by 71.9% is a great sign, because that's where they make the most profits. Net loss was 70.1 million compared to a net income of $3.5 million in the prior year, we will discuss why this is not necessarily a bad thing. All right, so let's get into some more of the nitty-gritty. Now let's see why these things are happening, okay? So the revenue increase was primarily driven by a $12.7 million increase in the branded products of Tattooed Chef, and a smaller, but still good $5 million increase in the private label products. So again, when a company is increasing its branded products over its private label, that is a great sign. The increase in Tattooed Chef branded products resulted from expansion in the number of U.S. distribution points, as well as increased volume at existing retail customers with our current portfolio of products and new product introductions. So again, they're expanding their SKUs, they're getting into new stores. This is just putting their brand out there and their brand awareness. This is all great stuff. So let's move into kind of more the gross profit. So the slight decrease in gross margin for the 3 months ended for the quarter September 30th, 2021 was primarily due to increases in raw materials, packaging, and freight and container costs due to inflation, as well as their 2 new facilities in New Mexico. So this is what all companies are dealing with, okay? Increased prices to ship things, to use certain materials. It's really becoming kind of a little bit of a pain in the what for these companies. But mind you, this is happening to all companies, so it's not just Tattooed Chef specific. And they bought the 2 new facilities in New Mexico, which also increased their expenses. So that's going to decrease their gross margins, but it's all, to me, explainable. No red flags there. Foods of New Mexico's operational production facility currently only manufactures private label products, which have a lower margin, like I was stating earlier, when compared to our Tattooed Chef brand products. So always the branded products are going to make more profit. Foods for the company. Foods of New Mexico's other facility, so the second one, is brand new and is expected to become active during the first quarter of 2022. That's right around the corner, guys. The company anticipates that both of these facilities will be fully operational and manufacturing both private label and Tattooed Chef branded products during 2022. Again, more signs that this company is growing and making use of these new acquisitions. All right, so let's keep on rolling. Let's look at operating expense. So the increase in operating expenses was primarily due to an increase of $3.4 million in marketing expenses. So that was their highest, which makes sense. They want to expand their brand. $0.4 million in sales commission expense, $0.5 million in resolution of a dispute and related fees. That would be interesting to know, but it's only $500,000. $0.8 million in stock compensation expense, and $1.5 million in operating expense for Foods of New Mexico. So that new facility is running, it's creating these operating expenses. That's good. Now, the $3.4 million in marketing expenses reflects the company's heavy investment in the Tattooed Chef brand, and that is reflected in the much larger increase in the Tattooed Chef brand products versus the private label products. So far, all their financials are making sense. These numbers are making sense. There's no red flags for me at this point. All right, so EBITDA. The decrease in adjusted EBITDA was primarily due to marketing expenses that were not present in the third quarter of 2020 and the operating expenses that were previously mentioned. So again, they are heavily paying for that marketing, and with the new acquisitions, those operating expenses are starting to roll in. So explainable to me again. They also had a very nice $129.5 million in cash and cash equivalents. And lastly, let's look at the outlook they provided us. So revenue in the range of $210 million to $215 million. And this is for the end of 2021. So we have one more quarter to go. They expect the revenue to be $210 million to $215 million. And that's an increase of 41 to 45% compared to 2020. Again, that is very healthy, right? If they were making single digit increases or even anything below 30, I'd be a little bit kind of disappointed. So gross margin will be in the range of 12% to 14%, adjusted EBITDA of negative $18 million to $20 million. again, the company's committed to an aggressive, I circled that word aggressive, and that's exactly what they're doing with all these acquisitions, expanded growth, expanded SKUs, you name it. So aggressive plan of growing its brand through extensive marketing and promotional spending that has already produced significant revenue growth in both grocery and mass retail. So again, explanation right there. The company also continues to be impacted by increases in logistics costs, storage fees, legal and accounting fees, and marketplace shortages in packaging products. Things that everyone, all the other, with inflation, and it's causing shortages and increase, in costs in certain things such as fees and stuff. This company's growing, so they're probably having to pay more in legal and accounting, just natural stuff. Due to the starting of a new facility, inflation within the economy, and COVID-19, they aren't able to provide projections for certain other measurements, and such as net income. And it's just, they're saying it's, of course, this is all GAAP accepted, but because of those things, they can't reliably give us estimates on those things. There's just too many unknowns at this point. They're very new to all this. And so that's their expected outlook. So what are my thoughts about this earnings? Yes, they had a miss. I don't think it was a huge miss. I would like to see them, of course, go beyond the expectations. But what I see is a company that is pouring everything it has into expanding. They're acquiring new companies. They're expanding their SKUs. They're getting into all these grocery stores. They are aggressively growing, and it's really reflecting in their financials. And though it's not as much as I think we'd all like to see, but there are a lot of headwinds against this company and all companies out there. Inflation, shortages. I'm sure, who knows what their employment problems might be, like any other company right now. Against all that, I still think they're doing an excellent job. And I am still an investor in this company. I will be buying more shares probably tomorrow, depending on what the price is. Now, the price dropped to about $15.75 right at the close, but it's back up to $16.45 when I last checked. So I think people are absorbing these numbers and seeing, hey, even though it's a miss, it is not that bad. And with their projections going forward and their aggressive growing measures, I think people see this company still something to invest in. There's nothing here that is red flag or to scare long-term investors off. And so the one thing I'd like to still hear is why they canceled the earnings last week. I'm still trying to research that. Hopefully it'll pop up soon. Maybe I'll put it in the comments why once I find that out. But overall, nothing bad. I don't see anything bad. Everything makes sense. I don't think it's a huge miss or anything like that. And I think that in the next year or two, that aggressive growth is going to really reflect. And hopefully with that share price right now in the $15 to $16 range, I bet you within the next year or two, it's again in the mid-20s. That's just my projection, but I continue to buy. I'm happy with these results. I'm not, of course, if they were better, that would have been awesome, but they're not bad by any means. And so if you're a holder of Tattooed Chef, I think you should be satisfied, happy, and proud that this company is working hard to grow and expand. So there you have it, guys, an update on their earnings, and I'll see you next time. Whether it's a Tattooed Chef update since I hold that company or something else. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate your viewership. Please let me know what you think about Tattooed Chef below and these earnings. Have a great day.